The 2022 football season is approaching rapidly. This means that you will most likely be doing your fantasy football draft soon. With that being said, I'm here to give you an edge against your opponents and give you the top 5 safest players to draft in this year's draft. At number 5, we have Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen is one of those players that you can safely assume that each week he'll get you 12 fantasy points. This isn't necessarily flashy, but you know that he'll at least put up double-digit points for you each week, and 12 is just his baseline basically. Since 2017, Keenan Allen has put up 509 receptions. This means he's averaging about 102 receptions a season. If you're looking at that from a PPR perspective, that is absolutely incredible. During the offseason, his defense has only gotten better. This should hopefully mean more time for him on the field, which would be great because that would be more receptions for him. Since 2017, Keenan Allen has also averaged about 6 touchdowns a season. 2021 was no different, he still got 6 touchdowns. This was all still done after Austin Ekeler had that massive 20 touchdown season. Since it's nearly impossible for Austin Ekeler to replicate that season, I think it's time for him to have some TD regression. With that being said, that leaves more touchdowns for Keenan Allen to eat up. If Keenan Allen stays on pace, he could easily have 10 touchdowns this season. Keenan Allen's considered pretty old for an NFL wide receiver, but that doesn't really scare me. His draft value also isn't too high, meaning you can get him around the 3rd round, which is great. At number 4, we're going to have Leonard Fournette. In 2021, Leonard Fournette finished as the RB5. Fournette was a strong runner, and not only that, he had high receiving upside. He finished his campaign with 69 receptions, which is a great number for a running back. We all know Tom Brady likes to take the check down, so it's very realistic Fournette gets at least 6 receptions a game. Now with that in mind, he'll easily probably get, 30 yards out of those 6 receptions. You add that up, that's 9 fantasy points right there. Not to mention there's no running back competition on the Buccaneers. So he'll easily probably get 10 carries for 40 yards a game. That's 13 points right there. Now 13 points isn't flashy, of course. However, if you think about that being a baseline, that's terrific. Some players have a difficult time getting 13 points at running back because they do not have that receiving upside like Fournette has. So again, 13 points being his bottom line, let's say he gets a touchdown, 19 points right there. All of those kind of low numbers, it doesn't really matter because he'll get those receptions, and that's kind of the point I'm making. You can safely bet on Fournette because of his receiving upside. Leonard Fournette is in his prime, he's got a new contract, and he's been in the best shape that he's been in his whole career. You can safely take Leonard Fournette in the 2nd round, towards the end of the 2nd round. At number 3, we have Stefon Diggs. In 2021, Stefon Diggs had to deal with sharing targets with Cole Beasley, Emmanuel Sanders, and Gabe Davis. This, however, was not even a problem for Diggs. He ended the season as the number 7 receiver with 103 receptions, 1,200 receiving yards, and 10 touchdowns. This is the 2nd most amount of receptions he's ever had in his career, the 2nd most amount of receiving yards he's ever had in his career, and the 1st amount of touchdowns he's ever had in his career. That is absolutely elite considering how much competition he had on his team, and not to mention, it's not like Stefon Diggs had a bad career previously. Now Stefon Diggs really only has Gabe Davis to worry about, and the ceiling is so high for him. Stefon Diggs will easily crush 100 receptions this season. He will probably have 1,500 receiving yards, and I'm going to make a hot take right now. He will easily have 12 touchdowns this season. You cannot go wrong with drafting Diggs, however, he's pretty pricey. He should normally go early 2nd round, but you're sometimes seeing him go end of 1st round basically. At number 2, we have Travis Kelce. So far on the list, Travis Kelce is probably the safest option in the sense that he has no injury history. He has missed 2 whole games in his career, which were due to COVID and due to a knee injury. If that isn't safe, I don't know what is. Travis Kelce has also been consistently the number 1 tight end for fantasy in years past. With tight end options being so slim, you can easily take Travis Kelce and know that you have a good bet of him being a top 5 tight end at least. Since getting Patrick Mahomes as his quarterback in 2018, Travis Kelce has had a total of 397 receptions. He's had 35 touchdowns, and he's had 5,106 receiving yards. That is nearly 100 receptions this season, nearly 1,300 receiving yards this season, and nearly 9 touchdowns this season. That is incredible, especially if you consider the fact that he had to share all of those, stats with Tyreek Hill being on the same team as him. With Tyreek Hill gone and no other receiver really to, compete with Travis Kelce is definitely on pace for 1,500 receiving yards this season. As long as Travis Kelce stays healthy like he has consistently done over his 9-year career, he's going to have a massive season. And now, at the number 1 spot, we have Justin Jefferson. During his 2-year career in the NFL, Justin Jefferson has put up elite numbers. During his short 2-year career, he has put up 196 receptions, 3,016 yards, and 17 touchdowns. If you do the math, that's basically 100 receptions a season, 1,500 receiving yards a season, and almost 9 touchdowns a season. He has consistently proven himself to be a top receiver, and I believe that he's going to be the #1 fantasy receiver this season. With little to no injury history, Justin Jefferson is extremely safe. With new coaching staff that is more pass-friendly, I do think it's very realistic Justin Jefferson could reach the 1,800 receiving yard mark. Not only that, I think it's very realistic he could reach 130 receptions and 12 touchdowns as well. There is so much to love about Justin Jefferson, and I don't even really feel like I need to make a case here for him. If you don't like Justin Jefferson, by all means, please draft with me and let me get him myself. He is absolutely amazing, and that is why he is by far my most favorite, safest option to draft in the 2022 fantasy season.